You good over there? Okay. Tweedledoosh. Okay. Truck Tales. I'm Ahmed Zappa. And I'm trying to log into my computer. I'm pretty excited about today. I can't remember my password for this. Oh, I did. Okay, good. I'm excited for our guest today. I'm excited to catch up on, we got some viewer mail. We going to play any of the voicemails too?
Oh, the 35 from the one person?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I didn't save them, but should I pull them out?
I mean,
I don't know if we should do that.
Well, some of them need to be edited. I thought we were going to play. Okay.
I didn't know we were going to do that, but
future show.
Yeah.
We love getting voicemails. We don't often play the voicemails. I think we actually should. So know that the Rock Line is open 24 hours a day. If you want to call the Rock Line and leave a message, you can. You can ask us a question.
The Rock Line, 855-601-ROCK.
You can suggest a theme for the show. You can just check in, tell us how you're doing. Ask Brando how he's doing. Ask me a question. I'm happy to be there. Yell at me. You know, I get that a lot anyway, so I'm used to it.
There are some nasty voicemails that come in for you.
Do you not play them because you think it's going to hurt my feelings? Mm-hmm. That's never going to happen. I think you should play them all. Now challenge accepted. Did Tom Bailey call in and say that was the worst experience of my life? I'm never coming on Rock Tales again to do a Thompson Twin show?
They're generally former guests, yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. We mentioned on our socials that we have a very special guest, David Helfant. He's a dear friend. He's like a consigliere to me. And one thing in particular, I mean, how could we say no to this? We're going to be world premiering a song from Emmy Lou Harris and Willie Nelson, but they are doing a cover of Lowell George's Willin.
Yeah.
That's going to be on the Record Store Day release of the Lowell George Tribute album, Rock and Roll Doctor, which came out a few years ago. But they've redone it, and this song is going to be on it, and it's going to kick ass.
And we'll hear all about how it came about. Obviously, there's a Lowell George connection to my father. And so some of you Zappa fans out there, or Little Feat fans out there. Oh, what is that? Is that the tequila bell?
Tequila!
Okay. All right. Sorry. Tricky Dicky. I forgot.
This assortment of tequilas right on the table right now is worth more than I am. It's bonkers.
Well,
what is going on right here?
We brought out some good tequila because David likes tequila, so only the best for David. But this is an organic tequila, Petals.
All right, let's try it.
And I think you'll like it because it's not like so sweet.
Okay.
Tell me if you like it. If I had one complaint, is that I poured our guest a tequila about 45 minutes ago, and it's not empty.
I'm really a slow drinker.
You're a slow drinker. David Helfant, welcome to Rock Tales.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. It is true what I said earlier. I really do view you as a good friend. I hope you feel the way that I feel because
Absolutely.
We first started working together. You represented this young artist called Valora, right?
Sid Duran.
Sid, yeah. She, family's really talented.
Yeah, amazing singer.
Yeah, amazing singer. Her sister was also in the band. So this artist, Sid, created this persona, this kind of like fantasy pirate swashbuckler rocker, and we were introduced because I was working with Hollywood Records back in the. This is going back like 17 years.
More.
Okay, so we were so ahead of our time, I feel. We came up with this idea, a graphic novel album. So we told the story of this companion piece of a new artist that people were going to figure out who she was. And we made like motion comic music videos for her. I met you as a music manager who also happened to be an attorney.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And, as things, I guess she didn't get the support. Or what was her backstory while Tricky Dickie's looking
I
up
think
this?
they spent so much time developing the artist that by the time it actually came time to release it, they were so in the hole that they just went, nah, we're never going to make any money on this.
These are animated pages from the graphic novel. This is 20 years old at this point. Believe me, this was cutting edge at the time.
She sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, she was.
This is how we met.
Yeah.
But then I got a call from you, and was I generous? Were you like, listen, I need to get some rights back? Did I jam you up?
I don't even remember that. What happened?
So you called and said, look, basically to get out of the Hollywood records, whatever, to clear up the rights for her so that she could have things free and clear.
Right.
You were like, hey, would you mind giving this back to the artist? And essentially I was like, yeah, no problem.
That's right.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
You're generous.
Tell me
Inside
about-
baseball.
Okay.
Because at the time, they didn't want to put the record out. And I said, if you're not going to put it out, give me the record back so I can at least place it somewhere else. And so they finally agreed to do that. And the graphic novel was a companion to that. So you're right.
I wish that she...
Shit, I don't even remember that. It's amazing that you should remind me.
Well, I mean, you've done a lot of things, so it doesn't surprise me. That's a tiny...
I have to say,
Yeah.
I had an existential crisis reading this gentleman's bio
Okay, tell me.
because he has done more in a month than I've done in my entire life.
Yeah.
It was bonkers. Like all the many hats that you've worn.
Right.
Executive producer, lawyer, executive, mentor, manager, and the number of artists that you've worked with. You've probably forgotten half the people that you've worked with.
Like, we could be jamming on something, right? You're one of the first people I'll call. I'm like, do you happen to know someone in this space here, or here? And I'm going to do a horrible job, remembering how this tribute record came to be, and you should definitely tell your own story.
Yep.
But this is another prime example of Helfant's superpowers, to where, and I think this is why people enjoy working with him. He's like, yeah, first of all, he's got great taste, in my opinion. He likes things that I similarly like. That's not to say I have good taste, meaning like, he's worked with artists or working on projects that are of real interest to me. So it's always fun to jam with you and to talk with you. Right. But as memory serves, didn't someone that was having a problem trying to get this record made call you, and you're like, I know a guy who knows a guy, right?
Sure. So what happened was, I got a phone call one day from a friend of mine, Jamie Cohn.
Okay.
And Jamie was an A&R guy and had fallen in love with Lowell George and Little Feat and their music. And shortly after Lowell passed away, he wanted to do a tribute record. And he basically went to 20 record companies and pitched them on the idea of funding the record, and came up short every time. And out of frustration, he called me up and said, maybe I could use your help. Like, I want to do this record, but I can't get funding. I can't get distribution. You think you can help? This was 1995.
Okay. And where are you in 1995?
I was at a law firm.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I'd say 40% of my practice was representing Japanese companies.
Okay.
Record companies, publishing companies, television networks in Japan. And I, for several years, was outside legal counsel for Mitsubishi. And Mitsubishi had a record company, a video game company, a publishing company, and the head of A&R, who was at that label, left and started a new label called Kaigen Entertainment.
Okay.
And I knew that he was a big Lowell George and Little Feat fan.
Bless his heart.
This phone call came in, and I went, yeah, I think I know what to do with this. And I called up, his name is Hitoshi Adachi, and much like, you and I have a lot of similar tastes, I felt like we were brothers, and we lived on different sides of the world, but we liked the same music, we liked the same food, we instantly became friends, and so we collaborated on a lot of projects. And when this came up, I called Adachi and I said, do you think your label would be interested in doing it? And he's like, are you kidding me?
That's so awesome.
And he loved it. And he called me back immediately and said, I spoke to everybody, and what do we need to do next? And that was it.
Isn't that nice? It's because it's well-deserved. Lowell George is an incredible musician, guitar player, songwriter.
And played with Frank Zappa.
But also the GTOs. My dad had this group, the Girls Together Outrageously. Lowell's, I think wrote some of the music on there too. Mm-hmm. I think you were telling me, and this is true, that after Lowell was left the band, kicked out of the band, still maintained this friendship with Frank. And anytime I see his daughter, puts a smile on my face. And she, by the way, talk about talent runs in the family.
Yeah, she's great.
And is she?
She's got a track on the record.
Okay.
She did it with Van Dyke Parks.
Okay.
And came out amazing.
So 1995. I can't do math. That's 20, almost 20 years ago. 21 years ago, right? No, 11 years ago.
31 years ago.
That's what I said. 31 years ago. So clearly, I'm a mathologist. So in the process, what was the song selection, the choices? Because you supervised all of this as well.
Because it was a Japanese record company that was funding it, and they weren't in Los Angeles. I had to do the business affairs. I had to do the A&Ring. I had to supervise the production. I would speak to the artist directly, and so each artist got to select the song that they wanted to record.
Did you make a phone call to anybody? Did you call Bonnie Raitt? Did you call Eddie Money?
Oh yeah. I mean, it started with Ira Ingber produced 2 of the tracks on the record, and he had been really close friends with Lowell George for years. He met through his brother Elliot, who also played with Frank. So he was integral. He had been playing with J.D. Souther years before. And when this issue came up, because he knew that Lowell and J.D. were very close, he called up J.D. and he said, hey, we're doing this record. We finally got funding. Would you do a track? And he said, yeah, I would love to. So he was the first one in the door. And J.D., I kind of used him as the conduit to all the artists. Hey, can you call up Jackson? Hey, can you call up Bonnie? Yeah. And so he was wonderful about that. And I mean, it's funny, we're talking about Bonnie. Bonnie was one of the first phone calls that we made because of her relationship with Lowell and her friendship. And I mean, I think she learned how to play slide guitar from Lowell. So,
is there any more kick-ass female performer than Bonnie Raitt? I don't think so. I mean, there's some I love, but Bonnie's got to be up there. That have just her voice.
Talk about when you embarrassed yourself in front of Bonnie Raitt. Go ahead.
Oh, you mean when I was at a pro-choice rally and
go for it.
You think I should tell the story? Fine.
What happened?
This is really not great. It's really not. So there was a certain.
We just lost Jesse Jackson.
Did Jesse Jackson just pass?
He did a couple days ago.
A couple days ago. Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, wow.
You did know that?
I did not.
Oh, wow.
So this is a Jesse Jackson story.
Okay.
So
can you tell this story? Let's skip it.
You remember it?
No, I remember.
Just give everyone the look that Bonnie Raitt gave you when you made the joke.
I'm 15, and I'm telling Bonnie, and I'm crying laughing so hard. I envisioned that Jesse Jackson had like a cloak of invisibility. Like he could make himself invisible, right? And he was doing horrible things. Let's just say horrible things in this park, right? And I'm laughing hysterically, thinking that everyone's going to think that the things coming out of my imagination are hysterical.
You still
right?
think that?
I still do. I'll just say that by the end of me telling this putrid story, Bonnie said, I am a huge fan of Jesse Jackson, and she gave me a nice talking to, and I've never been so mortified about someone who, when I walked up to her,
Right.
it's not because I just saw just a random person that I decided to tell what I thought was a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
I walked up to her because I'm like, that's my crush. I love Bonnie Raitt.
Mm-hmm.
She's the greatest slide guitar player.
Were you trying to pick her up?
There's probably a 15-year-old part of me that thought maybe.
Is it you know the answer to that?
I thought maybe. I thought maybe
shoots his shot.
Maybe
Kate Bush, Bonnie Raitt.
It was horrible. Anyways, I'm glad that she's on this record. She hates me.
But she did Cold, Cold, Cold.
Right.
Right.
Can we play? Can we play it?
Yeah, and Little Feat
Forgot to
backed her
download.
up on that, and then Little Feat did their own track.
Okay, so why don't we play just the Bonnie Raitt songs? We're going to hold back on playing the world premiere because
We should also tell people that the special Record Store Day version of
April 18th.
Rock and Roll, right?
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Doctor, the Lowell George Tribute album.
First time it's ever going to be available in vinyl,
That's awesome.
and the bonus track. Willin.
What a great partnership, by the way. The label that you're working with on this release, kudos to them.
Omnivore Recordings.
Yeah, for respecting the historical relevance and supporting great music. Were you able to go back to the Masters and do a remix on any of this
Yeah.
stuff? Or how did...
We had it remastered, and then we found, we knew we had this bonus track, Willin, that had never been on the original record. And Brad Rosenberger from Omnivore said, this would be so much cooler for Record Store Day if there was something new and fresh about it. And so I reached out to Ken Levitan, who manages Emmylou Harris and also Little Feat, and he helped me to get it cleared. And it was funny because he spoke to Emmylou, and Emmylou said, did I do a track of Lowell George? She goes, I don't even remember recording it. But, Ken said, hey, look, you should listen to it. It's really amazing.
So I haven't heard it. I'm going to hear it for the first time, too. We're all going to hear it for the first
and
time.
she listened to it, and Willie took another listen to it, and they went, yeah, let's give them the right to put it out.
But they recorded it for the first album.
And for the life of me, again, it's been so many years, I don't even remember why it didn't make the original release.
But In Our George is on.
Yeah, so what happened was there was a little piece, the first line in the song was recorded by someone, and no one could figure out who it was. And Liz and Anara said, it'd be really cool if I just put my voice on that intro. So she went in the studio, she cut that line, Ira edited it in, and then when we had it mastered, we dropped it right into the record, so it was pretty seamless.
This is what a feel-good moment for her. Is she proud of that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Here's the Bonnie Raitt track.
Okay, go.
That sounds good.
With Little Feat.
This is so my speed. Singing into like a boat mic.
Exactly.
That man, it was freezing cold.
This is exactly the kind of music I like to put on when I'm driving out to Palm Springs or, cooking meth in the kitchen.
Funny thing about this Bonnie track, I mentioned that she was one of the first artists that we reached out to, and she said no.
Oh.
Well, she did. I don't know if she said no. She said, let me think about it. And while all this was going on, we cut JD's track, we cut Taj Mahal, we cut Jackson Brown, Randy Newman and Valerie Carter.
Were you in the studio for all of this too?
Not all of them. Some of them just the mixes at the end. Because I basically would give the money to the artist and say, go do your thing.
Right.
And
Eddie
so-
Money.
Eddie
Who I
Money.
love.
I was in the studio for that. That was a fun one.
Did
So
you-
anyway, we cut all the other tracks, and now everybody's like calling Bonnie and going, hey, how come you didn't do a song? So I get a phone call from Ron Stone, who was managing her at the time, and he says, Bonnie's kind of annoyed. I go, really? Why's that? And he says, she doesn't understand why you didn't ask her to be on the record. I went, what? I said she was one of the first people I asked. He goes, well, she really wants to do it. And then so she called Little Feat, and they agreed to back her up. And so she was the last track that we did.
Wow.
So this is a 11-track record?
15 tracks.
15
Is
tracks.
it 15 altogether?
So
Okay.
the only
Oh,
new...
there's a spoken, so 14 tracks.
Yeah,
So
so by the way, that spoken word thing, this is the very end of the record. So we wanted to have Lowell somehow kind of haunting the record. And we found this interview that he had done years previously, and we lifted a line or two from the interview. And the line at the very end, and when you buy the record, you don't really know it's on there, but it says, "This is rock and roll heaven," and that's how we end the album.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. There's a lineup of tracks. Did anyone notice that Dixie Chicken is not on the record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which to me is one of the iconic Lowell songs.
Was there a reason why?
I couldn't get anyone to do it.
Yeah.
Because they said I could never make it as good as
Yeah,
the
it's too
original.
iconic, right?
So I don't want to touch it.
Well, who if you
Wow.
could pick someone
Yeah.
to do it now,
Oh,
who
God.
would be the ideal? Who did you want to do it back in the day, and who do you think could do it now?
I think Chris Robinson could.
Okay.
I think the Crows could tear through
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
do
No,
it
for sure.
justice.
That's
Yeah.
a good call.
You know?
Yeah,
I think the
that's
Crows
true.
could do it.
It's true.
I think Larkin Poe.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, they should.
It's no secret that I love the band Larkin Poe.
It's no secret.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want to say to people that are like gonna check out the album is read the liner notes, because not only are there a lot of amazing performers, but when you dig into the liner notes and you see who's playing on the record,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the who's who of the music business.
Out of curiosity, you were saying the record goes out of print,
Right.
right? So, who's keeping the album art? Who had the masters?
Well,
Was that a nightmare?
This is the cover for the original Japanese release. Okay. So every Little Feat record had artwork from Neon Park. Okay. So
he did. I think the Weasels Rip My Flesh album cover.
Oh, really?
I think for my dad.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I think so.
Wow.
I have some of his artwork.
Interesting.
He's incredible.
yeah.
Well, it's
So
incredible.
when we decided to do the record, we felt like for the integrity of, Lowell's legacy, that it made sense to get a Neon Park piece of art for the cover.
And?
So reached out. He says, why don't you come over to my house and you can look through my art and find something that's never been used before. And so we ended up finding two pieces, this one and then the one that was on the U.S. cover, which was a different.
So is the vinyl colored vinyl on the album store day? Anything special?
Different packaging for
okay.
the re-release.
Neon Park on the artwork for the
No, the cover of the new album is a picture of Lowell.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That what Liz was gracious enough to give to us.
that's awesome. Okay,
Should we take a couple calls?
We should, and we should also hear some other rock and roll stories from somebody who knows where all the bodies are buried.
Okay, let's clear a couple calls here.
Yeah.
Good.
It's Rocktails. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What are you drinking?
Good evening. It's Jason from New York. I'm drinking a 7-Eleven Slurpee.
All right.
Okay.
wow, that's the first.
But you got a question for me? You got a question for David? What can we do you for?
Well, actually, I'm so glad David's on tonight. Largely, there's something, I know he's kind of a great legal mind, and as a legal mind, he probably has to just ethically run over a bunch of stuff. And also, I could tap into your great channel of you, Brendan, and Richard. I work in Times Square. I'm kind of a traveling salesman of sorts. I'm walking up and down in the theater district on 52nd Street at, I won't say the name of the theater, but anyways, there's MJ the Musical. And it just really throws me off kilter that, there's always the queue that's lined up. and I see a lot of children going to this. And I want to ask you, would you take your children to see MJ the Musical?
Okay, that was a,
Well, so this
that's
is
a long way
That's a
around.
legal
to,
question?
That's a legal question. Yeah, it's directed at our local attorney. So
Well, it's about
David-
ethics.
And everybody else who's there.
Well, you know what? We don't have a lot of time for this call. I'll just fucking feed this right to David.
Thanks
David,
for calling, buddy.
And my answer would be yes, because Michael Jackson loved children. And so
all right, it's Rocktails. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What are you drinking?
It's Brian from Alabama. I'm drinking sweet tea.
Fuck yeah, you are.
Okay.
That's the best line reading of all time.
Drinking sweet tea.
Well, that's what you do in Alabama. Do you what's your recipe? How do you make your sweet tea?
With a Mr. Coffee machine.
Fuck yeah, you do.
Wait, no, and then what? You put the tea bags in the Mr. Coffee, or what's the process?
I buy a gallon-sized tea bag. I
Okay.
put it in the coffee filter part. I fill it up with 12 cups of water.
Okay.
And I turn it on. When it's done, I pour it over 2 cups of sugar, and then I add another 12 cups of water to that. So
I kind of want to do that now.
That's a pro. That's a pro. We have a lawyer here who could help Brian get Brian's tea to the market.
Oh yeah, yeah. That sounds delectable. What a refreshing
I have a
drink.
Japanese client that'll finance that.
Perfect. Okay, so Brian, you have a question for David, for myself about this compilation record, tribute record. What can we do you for?
well, y'all said, since I live in Dixie, there's been a really good version of Dixie Chicken by Garth Brooks.
Okay, interesting.
Oh.
Okay,
Let's find
on
that.
his
Didn't know that.
that makes
fourth
sense.
album.
Okay,
and,
we'll play it right now.
Okay.
Of course there is.
Are you? So I assume you're a Little Feat fan.
I am. I think Wait on Columbus is a great album.
yep.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Little Feat song?
Fat Man in Bathtub.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Have you heard any of the?
Or Willin.
What
okay.
track?
Willin.
The world
Willin.
premiere
Oh.
that's coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna play the world premiere of Willin. It's Willie Nelson and Emmylou Harris on this track.
I sat next to Emmy Lou Harris at the Rolling Stone show at Staples Center in 1999.
I think
Whole
she's.
time.
I
Whole
think
time.
she's so cool.
Right next to me. Whole time.
Gorgeous,
Yeah.
Yeah.
great
An angel.
musician,
A god.
Yeah,
Emmylou
Among men.
Harris.
Yeah.
Another person from my home state of Alabama.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you get a chance? Are you familiar with this tribute record before its re-release? Was this something that maybe you bought back in the day, or
It was my first time hearing about it.
Oh wow.
But it
Okay.
sounds awesome.
Great.
So on this record, I'm gonna, because we didn't go through the track list. Cold, 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 Bonnie Raitt and Little Feat. Feats Don't Fail Me Now, Taj Mahal. Roll 'em Easy, J.D. Souther. Rocket in My Pocket, The Bottle Rockets,
J.D.
and
Souther, he passed away too.
Yeah. I
dude,
did.
what a talent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, you still have a J.D. Souther thing that you're working on. Can you mention that, or should I shut up?
What's that? Oh.
No, okay. I'm not going to shut up about that then. There's so many things that I don't know if I can talk about. Like, because you don't really talk about your client list ever, really?
I try not to.
Oh God! So the list is incredible. Okay, we got the Sailin' Shoes, Randy Newman and Valerie Carter. I've Been the One, Jackson Brown. 2 Trains, Alan Toussaint, that's what I said,
Toussaint.
Booty Traps, and Leo Nocentelli.
From the Meters.
Oh, okay. Long Distance Love by
Keisuke Kawata. Keisuke Kawata is in a band called the Southern All Stars.
Okay.
They're one of the biggest bands in Japan.
That's
And-
what, like, so was that like one of the things where the label suggested it?
So they said, if we're going to spend a lot of money making this record, let's get Kawada to do one of the songs.
Smart.
And he's got one of the most popular podcasts in Japan. And so he agreed to promote the album heavily. When it first came out, he would play it all the time. He would always talk about it. And I think he was very proud. He actually, the track is a duet with Mary Clayton, who was, with Joe Cocker and Carole King and the Rolling Stones. And so he had the opportunity to perform with her. And that was one of the tracks that Ira Ingber produced. Came out great.
So then we have, for those of you who don't know, Long Distance Love. We just covered that.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Doctor, Eddie Money, and Buddha Heads. Who are the Buddha Heads?
The Buddha Heads are a band that I was representing at the time.
Okay.
Alan Mirikatani, who was a great guitar player, Japanese-American, and he was signed to Kaigen Entertainment.
Okay, this
so
is cool.
Kaigen said, hey, but check this out. The drummer on that track is Kenny Aronoff, one of the greatest drummers of
all time.
Yeah. And the sax player on that record is Clarence Clemens. Yeah, so it was quite a track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hokey smokes.
Then we have Straight from the Heart, Chris Hillman and Jennifer. I am literally
Jennifer Warren.
Jennifer Warren. This is very small print. Honest Man by Little Feat. Spanish Moon, Phil Perry, Mary Clayton, and Ricky Lawson. Trouble by Anara George. And then the last track, little intro from Anara, but it's a Willie and Emmylou Harris track.
Wow.
And we're going to look forward to playing that in a second. But before we that's how we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to world premiere that song. I have to ask you.
Sure.
In your early career, because you started off as a guitar player, right? You were just going to be a rock god. That was your plan, right?
I wanted to be the next Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, so are you a Fender guy or?
Well, I have some Fenders, I have some Gibsons, I have, for an acoustic side, Martin is probably my favorite to play.
Okay.
But, I didn't think I could ever make a living as a musician.
But you never stopped playing guitar, and you should.
I still play, but I wanted to make sure that I could, go out to dinner.
Right.
You share something with Richard Sheltinger because
That's
this
how I
gentleman
started.
can play
really?
guitar.
I started in music and then went to business because,
Okay.
look, when you have kids young, you got to feed them.
Yeah,
He likes to go
exactly.
out to dinner.
So you come out to Los Angeles,
Come out to LA to go to law school.
and how do you wind up right out of the gate working with some of the biggest bands in the world, like Van Halen and Ozzy Osbourne?
I got hired 6 months out of law school. I got hired by a gentleman by the name of Henry Bushkin.
Okay.
And Henry was the lawyer and the manager for Johnny Carson.
His daughter was my friend Dana.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the firm
Van Halen also did a Little Feat song.
Did they? Which
Dennis
song?
is still here.
Yeah.
They did Apolitical Blues is on OU 812.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Wait, is this Brian in Alabama?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Drinking sweet tea.
Stay on for the rest of the show.
No, he's joining us. We're
He
not
should
getting
join
rid
us
of
for
him.
the rest of the
No,
show.
he's on every show.
He's our buddy.
I was 25 years old when I got hired, youngest person to ever be hired at the firm.
Okay.
And the client list was Johnny Carson, John Travolta, Belushi and Aykroyd, Priscilla Presley, Ozzy Osbourne, Cheap Trick, Steppenwolf, The Kinks, George Clinton, and the Funkadelics.
So you can't believe it because this is like your musical.
To show you what a geek I was, like I couldn't believe that I was actually doing this because I had dreamt about it my whole life. So I said to the receptionist, anytime anyone famous ever comes into the office, buzz me and let me know. And then I would grab files and I would walk through the lobby and I would see who was sitting there. Because it was like, holy shit.
Who was the biggest one?
Yeah.
Who that you kind of lost your mind that came in?
Well, I when they asked me to start doing work for Van Halen, I thought that was pretty damn cool. They were probably the biggest rock band in the world at the time.
Yeah.
And my job, which was kind of goofy, but I loved it, was I was responsible for suing all the bootleggers that were selling illegal merch.
Wow.
My dad would have loved you. He would have been like, that's my guy right there.
So I would go into federal court, I would get an order for an injunction, and I'd be running through the parking lot serving all the guys selling illegal merch.
Quick question about that, because at that time,
Yeah.
early 80s, were the bootleggers, were there 4 or 5 nationwide syndicates that were doing that, or was it really like just city by city?
We had no idea who they were. In fact,
Okay.
when I would go into federal court, one of the challenges of getting the order, the federal court rules require that in order to issue an injunction, you have to identify the person that you're getting the relief against to make sure that the court is actually targeting the right person.
Right.
So when you file a lawsuit, if you don't know the name of the party, you call them a doe defendant. So we didn't know what the names of the bootleggers were going to be until we got in the parking lot. So we got injunctions to serve on doe defendants. And then we'd fill in the name of the bootlegger when we served them.
And so Noel Monk
Noel Monk was the manager.
was the manager, right?
Correct.
At that time. So you worked hand in hand with him?
Noel. And you know how, do you remember how Noel became the manager?
I think he worked for the Sex Pistols, right? And
He was the tour manager
Yeah.
for the band.
for the
And
Sex Pistols.
Marshall Burrell was managing the band at the time, and the band couldn't figure out why the records were selling and they weren't making a lot of money. They ultimately found out that Marshall was skimming off the top.
Wait, a manager was crooked. What happened?
That's crazy.
So they went to the label and they said, shit, like, what are we going to do now? We need a manager. And they said, well, Noel Monk is doing a great job. Why don't you just promote him and make him the manager? And that's how he became the manager.
So, but hold on. In back to the merch thing.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't, I mean, we love Van Halen here at Rock Tales, and I think I've probably listened to the Noel Monk book on tape 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Right. And if memory serves, you would also confiscate, because you could, the merchandise.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And didn't you then resell it as your own?
No, I have no recollection of that. I don't think we would have, because the quality wasn't as good
Oh, it was
as what
terrible,
we were
because I
selling.
remember the favorite shirt that I ever bought in my life. I was in 8th grade. The 1981 Van Halen World Tour. It was a Fair
You're
Warning
wearing
tour
it right
shirt.
here.
This was the 2007 shirt.
Oh, okay,
I
got
should have
it.
worn it was my favorite shirt ever. But in the parking lot, the bootleggers were selling the poor illustrations of the band on a black shirt with the white sleeves, just bad.
Right.
How much money were those guys making back then? The bootleggers.
I have no idea. But just to give you an example, when Van Halen did the US Festival,
Yeah.
so, that was a big issue because we knew there were going to be a lot of bootleggers. We made $1 million
Wow.
in merch sales
That's crazy.
Just on that day.
just on that show.
And back then, in 80, what is it? 80,
Well, remember, the US Festival, I think, was like a 2 or a 3 day festival.
3 days,
So
83.
it was during that period of time.
so
yeah.
for adjusted for inflation, what is it? What do we think that is?
Oh, it's probably $6-7 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
And I think one of the things that was the coolest about being part of that whole scene was anytime Van Halen would go out on the road, they would have a friends and family rehearsal where they would actually kind of preview the show before they go out on the road. So they would always rent Zoetrope Studios, and they would bring in alcohol and food, and it would just be like 30, 40 people in the room watching the band do the show. And it was just like, I'm a young kid, and I'm pinching myself and going, what the hell am I doing here?
so 30, 40 people and enough cocaine for 60 to 70
I never
people.
saw cocaine. But you know what? I remember, like, the first time I ever heard Jump,
Yeah.
because Eddie would play keyboards first, and then he'd jump on guitar. they previewed that just before they went out on the road. It was the first time I'd ever seen them play it live. It was amazing. Because it added a different dimension to the band having those keys.
And did you hang out with the band where they're like so grateful?
They would play, and then afterwards they'd just hang with everybody and talk. Yeah.
And what was the funniest thing Diamond Dave ever said to you?
No record.
He's a brilliant guy, right?
Oh yeah, and back in those days, he was a black belt in karate. He was in perfect shape.
Did you feel like Eddie was the best guitar player you'd ever seen?
Oh my God.
And did you ever play as a guitar player? Did you ever play one of his guitars?
No, never got lucky that way.
Did you want that so bad?
No, so badly.
I bet. That's awesome. Okay, so you got time to just give us a little Ozzy Osbourne, because I know, that was a big moment in your.
When Ozzy was signed to Jet Records, which was owned by Don Arden. And at the time, Don had Air Supply on the label. He had ELO on the label.
Right.
And, Ozzy was at the very beginning of his career.
Did you work with Air Supply, too?
Not at that time, no.
Okay.
Years later, I got friendly with them, but
sorry, real quick. After you worked with Van Halen and did a great job for them, did you ever get to say, like, I'd love to work with these other bands?
Remember, I was a young punk in those days. Like, so for me, I would usually end up representing these people because the partner down the hall had them as a client, and he'd say, "Oh, can you help me on this?" They weren't my clients,
right?
So yeah, it was really early stages.
What would you do for Ozzy? Similar thing?
Well, the firm represented Ozzy, and Ozzy couldn't figure out why he wasn't making a lot of money.
Okay.
And ultimately, he came to the realization.
I see a theme here.
Yeah, there's no question. Early days of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Chess Records.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a theme here.
All of these old, I remember I was in Jamaica one time. I was working on a reggae movie, and I got invited to a very famous reggae artist's house. And he said to me, "Hey, would you represent me? I'm looking for a new record deal." And he had been signed to Island Records.
Chris Blackwell.
Right. And I said, "Well, what do your numbers look like?" He goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, how much money do you make every year?" He goes, "I don't know." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I don't really get royalty statements." And I said, "Well, then how do you get paid?" He goes, "Well, when I need money for a car or a house, I'll call up Chris Blackwell, and he'll say, how much do you need? And he'll write me a check." So it's definitely a recurring theme.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that seems fair. That seems like they were definitely doing proper accounting.
This reggae artist didn't realize how badly he was being ripped off until Universal bought Island, and all of a sudden he started getting computerized statements, and he went, "Holy shit, if I'm making this kind of money now, and it's years after my fame, what didn't I get paid on back in the day?"
The answer is a whole lot of money.
Wow.
Okay, so Ozzy wasn't getting paid.
So Ozzy wasn't getting paid.
So you went in there and fucked some people up.
So the law firm filed a lawsuit to get him out of his contract, and ultimately the case got settled. Sharon worked at the office for her dad. Mm-hmm. She fell in love with Ozzy, and then when Ozzy decided to come to America and get a new deal, Sharon left, and they became boyfriend and girlfriend.
She chose Ozzy over her dad.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No.
I love that.
Well, because we love Don Arden stories on Rock Tales. We've had many.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yes, we have. So we know the lengths that he will go to win.
Who, if in your knowledge base, who do you think? Because there's again a theme here where artists get screwed. When the artist realizes they've been screwed and then they get out of the contract, is there a certain artist that you're like, we got them the craziest, best deal of all time? Do you have any kind of memory of, oh, we did something extraordinary for that group, that artist? Or is it they're all fucked all the time?
I represented Doug Weston, who owned the Troubadour for many years. And one of the people that worked for Doug was Jackie Guthrie. Yeah. Jackie was the wife of Arlo Guthrie, okay? that's how Arlo and Jackie met.
Can you tell people what we're working on, or you don't want to tell people?
We're working on a Troubadour documentary.
Incredible. The history of this club, you know, the artists that came through there, the impact that this club has had on the state.
Legendary shows at the Troubadour.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So you were saying.
So Jackie calls me up one day and she says, "How would you like to represent Arlo?" And I went, "Really?" I said, "Wow, that would be amazing." And I said, "What does he need?" Well, he is in the middle of negotiating to get the masters back for all of his records from Warner Brothers Records, and the lawyer that's representing him can't get the deal closed. She goes, "I know you can do it for him." And so I ended up representing Arlo, negotiated the deal, got his catalog back with the exception of 2 records, Alice's Restaurant and the Greatest Hits album. Everything else came back to him. He started a company called Rising Sun Records, and that allowed him to have his own label and to live off of his own music in a way that he never had the opportunity to before.
Yeah, good for you.
So that's a nice example of him.
That's how it should be. You get totally taken advantage of. You and the Van Halen
Along this line, because that's a satisfying deal for you.
Yeah,
because
very
you
much so.
helped an artist that you respected and loved.
Absolutely.
Right? So off the top of your head, another deal, you know, you're committed to all of your projects.
Right.
But like on a personal level, like, I'm so happy that I got this done.
Well, I mean, one of the projects I worked on when I was at Paramount.
I mean, you're the head of business affairs at Paramount.
I was senior vice president of music, business, and legal affairs. So I was responsible for running the department and supervising all of the music deals, licensing the library. So any new films that came out, if I'd have to do the composer agreements, me and my staff, we'd do the composer agreements, the music supervisors agreements, and then any original music that was created for the movie. And then we had a clearance department that would license pre-existing music that was used in the film.
There's no way that this guy didn't have to, like, the bands that you represented, for sure, you were doing soundtrack deals. And back then, a soundtrack deal, they'd pay you, like, for certain artists, like $100,000 to do a track.
It was great money.
Big money.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's nothing now. Like, you get maybe $2,000.
Right, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
So one of the movies I worked on, the star of the movie was also a musician. He was in a band called Tenacious D.
I love.
His name was Jack Black.
Yep.
And we go into production on School of Rock.
Okay.
And I go to Sony, because he was signed to Sony, and I say, you guys should put out the soundtrack album, because he had a lot of on-camera original songs that he was doing. And we had so many great tracks. Led Zeppelin, AC/DC.
How the hell did you get Led Zeppelin and AC/DC?
Well, that is an amazing story. I'll tell you that in a minute. But, so Sony didn't want to put the record out. So I called up my friends at Atlantic Records, and Atlantic had, you know, Stevie Nicks was on the record, or a re-record of a Stevie Nicks track, Black Keys, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. So I called up Craig Kalman, and I said, you know, I have this soundtrack album that's available, and I'd love to, you know, show you the movie. So I flew to New York, set up a screening at the Viacom office in Manhattan. Craig Kalman came down with Ron Shapiro, who was the president of the label at the time. And the reason why Sony had passed, they actually thought that the idea of Jack Black playing in a band with 15-year-old kids was the stupidest thing they'd ever heard of, and it was going to ruin his career. And so they didn't want to put the album out. So I fly to New York, and I'm like, I got to get this deal done. I got to get this deal done. So it's just the 3 of us sitting in the screening room, and the lights come up after the movie, and I'm like, oh, shit, say yes, say yes. And Craig and Ron look at me, and they go, do you realize how great this fucking movie is? And I'm like, yes. And
that's
so I
good.
made a deal with them, and the record did really, really well.
No, by the way, it's the movie. It's the soundtrack that introduced a whole new generation to rock.
Right.
The most weed that we have ever seen. We went to see Jack record with the Dust Brothers.
Oh, wow.
The first Tenacious D record at their studio in Silver Lake.
Got it.
And it was the Dust Brothers sitting in and Jack in the thing. And then just a cloud of white.
And that record is great. It's a great record.
Yeah, that's teamwork.
Anyway, you asked how we got Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, please. That's
So-
first of all, they don't license their
They
music.
didn't license their music.
Yeah.
So Rick Linklater was the director. He did a great job directing the film. So there's a scene at the end of the movie where it's the final talent competition and they're performing in it. And we didn't have the rights to the Led Zeppelin song yet. And so Rick says to Jack, why don't you, since you're already in the room, when you're up on stage, we'll film a plea from you directly to Led Zeppelin with all the people in the room screaming in the background. And so we filmed this piece, and it was basically Jack going, you guys are rock gods, and this is a movie about rock and roll, and we need this, we need it to legitimize the movie. And everyone in the background is screaming and yelling. And we took the video clip, and we sent it to their manager in the UK. He played it for the boys, and they were so taken by how adorable the clip was that they called up Atlantic and they said, give them the song.
That's wonderful. See, art prevailed.
Yeah.
You know, good. Movie's great. Is it time to?
This has been great.
Yeah, this has been great. Is it time to play the world premiere?
Oh, right.
I think we go out.
Wow.
Okay, great. All right.
A record store day is April
18th.
Yep.
So it comes out first, vinyl, and then it's an exclusive for 2 weeks, and then it'll be available on CD, digital downloads, etc.
And without further ado, I'd like to thank you so much, David, for coming.
Thank
you
you
have a
for
good time?
inviting me. Yeah, it was great.
You're a light drinker.
If I had too much tequila, I'd tell the wrong stories.
Okay, well, next time, because we do have to get into the weird people that you've represented and gotten them out of a bad situation.
There you go.
That's for next time. All right, so without further ado, it really is an honor to play the world premiere of Willin. Anara is in the beginning, and it's a duet with Emmy Lou Harris and Willie Nelson. We're all hearing this for the first time, so for those of you watching this right now, crank it.
Been warped by the rain, driven by the snow, I'm drunk and dirty. Don't you know it, I'm still willing.
Out on the road late at night, see my pretty Alice in every headlight. Alice, Alice, Alice. I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchapee to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back road so I wouldn't get away. And if you give me weed, white side